I'm coming to you live to talk about the prohibition of cannabis and what the world would look like if cannabis was never prohibited. So I'm just going to talk a little bit, see if anyone will hop on. Today I did a podcast episode with Michelle Torrance on her Rising Goddess Radio podcast. It was a lot of fun, so that episode should be live probably next week sometime, so I'll keep you guys posted on when that releases. I'm really excited about it. Hey, thanks for hopping on. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of the history of the prohibition of cannabis. This is mostly for the United States, but Canada pretty much followed suit. How you doing? It's been a long time since we chatted. The Canadian cannabis history is very similar to the American history. So when did the prohibition start? Actually in 1847, there was a group of doctors that practiced allopathic medicine, so mainstream medicine, stuff like that. They decided to create an alliance called the American Medical Association, and they wanted to take over all the natural alternatives to medicine. So cannabis obviously was one of the biggest ones they wanted to stop in the name of profit, basically. And then in 1906, the FDA required that any products that had cannabis in it be labeled, and they started making it a lot harder for them to produce and distribute the cannabis medicine. So, and it also made it less acceptable, so it started going downhill from there. And then in 1930, a man named Harry J. Anslinger, he was hired as a director of Bureau of Narcotics, and he started a campaign against marijuana, and he had a pretty racist message about marijuana, and that's when reefer madness started and stuff like that. So, he quoted, he said, "Marijuana is the most violence-causing drug in the history of mankind. Most marijuana smokers are Negroes, Hispanics, Filipinos, and entertainers. Their satanic music, jazz, and swing result from marijuana usage." So that's pretty awful to say. And 7 years later, in 1937, his campaign ultimately led to the Marijuana Tax Act and the prohibition of cannabis. So that is when it's all started. So that was quite a long time ago. And cannabis has been obviously on the planet as probably longer than we have, and it's co-evolved with us for so long. It's a medicine. You could use hemp for alternatives to plastics and fuels and building materials, paper, clothing, you name it. But yeah, they made it illegal in the name of profit, so that's kind of crappy. Anyways, so what I wanted to talk about is, what if that never happened? What if cannabis was just freely growing in the fields? Farmers could use it in their agricultural practices. We used it for our industrial stuff and replaced all the plastics. Actually, plastics probably wouldn't have been a thing because the hemp plastics is actually biodegradable. We'd have medicine, we'd be able to grow it in our backyards. We would have hemp seeds for nutrition. We'd have so much, such a better world if cannabis was never made illegal. So I'm glad that we are kind of on the right track and starting to legalize it. A lot of the states have medical or recreational or both, which is awesome. There's a lot still against it, but we're going in the right direction. And obviously Canada, recreational cannabis is going to be legalized probably in October, I think, is the timeline now. They keep changing it, and it's taking a long time. So hopefully that gets in soon, so that we could just start creating a better world and start to, be more conscious of the planet and taking care of the planet and letting the planet take care of us. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. If you want to look in deeper to it, I published a blog post earlier today talking about the same thing. Hey Taylor, if you missed anything, you can go back to the beginning. I'm pretty much done now. It's nice to see you on, though. Thanks for hopping on. I'll post the link to the blog post in the comments of this video if you wanted to check that out. And yeah, that's all I want to talk about. Hope you all have a great night. Bye.